mystery. Oh my gosh. Whatever. I'll go to the website. I'll go to my account. I'll find my account. Okay. Getting on the trends, you guys. Oh, spoilers. Okay. Oh, hey. So I made this tier list that has 2 Aosakis in it of the Durarara characters, anime only folks. That even though I read the books, I'm a real fan. Whatever. It's the different power levels, so you can play them in the video game. I'm not one of those guys who's gonna make a tier list of my favorites. I'm not an incel. I only care about winning at games. So, if I'm playable tier, this is Nakara and the one teacher guy, Mr. Nakajima, I think. Anyway, these guys are both fucked for life. They both have people actively ruining their lives at all times, as well as no powers and no known support network. So they're both completely fucked. If you choose these characters, your life is ended. You can't win. The next one is people with no. Similarly, these are characters with no known connections to other characters, as well as no real powers. This is the painter man who can't draw the Dillahan's head, and this is that one tourist from that one episode from Russia. It's funny, I took these off the Durarara wiki, most of them, and it's like they're missing some important season 2 characters in their character list, and then they have like random extras from season 1, probably because those were more popular. Anyway, yeah, she is seen with one friend as well as she does talk to Simon at one point, but I think it's safe to say no one would come to save these guys in a street brawl, which is what Durara essentially boils down to at the end of the day. And they can't fend for themselves. They're lame. The D tier is power level 0. So these are characters who are with it, I guess, but display no level of real power. This is some immigrant child who is known to be friends with Kazutano and Saburo in that one episode. This is Azusa. She's Erika's cosplayer friend. Actually, she wasn't on the wiki, but I added her because I was just reading the volume she's from, so I remembered her. Unlike you, probably, haha. She's Erika's friend, so maybe Erika could back her up in a fight, but doubtful. Um, this is Shinra's mother-in-law. She's like full-bodied enough to be able to hold her own in a fight. I like to think somewhat, but generally no. Next up is the Gonguro girls. They're a little gaggle of girls, you know. So, and they have that one boyfriend who's like a street thug or whatever. So they might have some power. They're definitely capable of bullying E tier characters. I could see them bullying Mr. Nakajima. I hope that's his name. Alright, C tier's thought leaders. These are 2 men who, despite a lack of connections and power, are capable of controlling the media and therefore manipulating people's thoughts and opinions. This is Niyakawa, what's his name? Shuji Nirakawa, the journalist guy, and this is that one TV dude who's American. Okay, this one's a big tier. This is the B tier, which is mooks. These are just basically all the regular street tough characters that you see that aren't particularly interesting or cool, but they can fight, I guess. They can fight as well as, a normal person can fight. The 2 twins are here. They're the only, I think, very main. Oh, and Mika's here. Mika can run away from you or whatever, and she's crafty, but she'll get eaten by any of the other ones. This is that one girl. She pulled a knife on Izaya. These are many. I mean, these are mostly like, you know, small arc or episode villains. Or just, guys that you see in the backgrounds of shots, like this sleepy lad here. All right, the A tier is Starfuckers. So these are characters that you could play as. They have almost no offensive capabilities, but the benefit here is you're going to be able to essentially, all of these characters have like an S tier character, an S tier or higher character that cares enough about them to where if you fuck with any of these guys, you're dead. You know, this girl, she was with Rochi, I think. Her too. Sheener has Celti, obviously. Tom has Shizuo. This Dokusenmaru has Rui Hijiribe. Kazutano has the Van Kids. Fucking Yuhei Hanajima has Shizuo. What's his name? Oh my gosh. Seiji Yagiri obviously has a sister and Mika, but she's lower tier, I think. Because if Mika came under attack, like Henri looked for her that one time, but like, would she even look for her in the modern day? Probably not. Um, and then Saki, obviously Masaomi and the yellow scarves are gonna eat you, as well as Izaya. Maybe the extent to which he actually cares about her is unclear. And then we have Akane, who's like the entire Yakuza is gonna end you. Then we have S tier, which is another bloated one like Mooks, which is men of dubious influence. These are essentially high level Mooks. These are basically guys who have control over small teams of people, but it's or are generally more powerful than your average street brawler, but it's sort of unclear to what extent. Like we have Henri's mom, like I guess she had Psycha, but like I don't know. She doesn't seem like maybe her head is too destroyed. We have Shooter is supposed to be depicted here, which is Celti's horse. I guess Shooter could be in Starfuckers, but I feel like Shooter has his own special powers that make him inherently important. And then we have Mikado, who like I mean, S tier is nothing to scoff at, but he doesn't compare to some of the other like for a main character. It's a little sad to see him in just single S tier. But his influence is dubious. I mean, his power over the dollars is unclear. He only really has some level of power with Alba's guys, and like it's not even clear if he has real control or anything. The head games between these two. The S tiers are all capable of like fucking with each other, basically. Like these guys fuck around, and like these guys fuck around, and like these guys like I thought of it this way, like the reason that Mikado is able to go toe to toe with Namie Yagiri in that one, like toe to toe, quote unquote. It's not a battle or anything, but like the reason he's able to like scare her off is because he does have dubious influence, and it does, I guess, save him in that one scene. And she does too, because she is sort of with Izaya and has some power in a pharmaceutical company that does weird things and controls the van guys, the evil van guys who are in the Mook tier. Anything else here? Saburo was placed here. Dubious influence in the sense that, like I think Saburo could probably do fine in a fight, and he has friends in high places, but like he's placed above these two because I feel like Saburo has the van, and I'm not sure the extent to which he's willing to use that to just mow down all of the yellow scarves if he wants to. I don't think that's really in his wheelhouse, but I think he could like if Kadota had died that one time, like he would have. Who knows what his true power level would have been revealed to be. Shingen is here. He has he does that like funny thing where he has multiple heads. That was pretty silly with Igor. And that basically puts him on the same level of Dokkan Kusu, who is in the Awakusu, but like I don't know if this is touched on in the show, but in the books, it's like people are probably trying to overthrow him. He's kind of a figurehead. It's kind of weird. So he's there because the guys really running the show are like Mr. Shiki and Akabayashi. Awazaki is here because he could be on the same level as Akabayashi, but we don't really see him in action very often, so it's unclear. Ah, yes, the double S tier, Street Samurai. So these are all characters who just like, if you get them in a fight, you're going to lose. If you're like a mook or you have unclear power levels. This guy right here, he should be next to Mikage actually, and those two should be next to each other because they're in love. Okay, so like these two are great fighters. They're like pro martial artists or whatever, and like they have each other's back to some extent, maybe. Ron Izumi, he's got that big hammer and he's fucking scary, and he's not afraid of anything except fire. But like, yeah, he'll just end you. He has no qualms. See, like Saburo would be up here if he was like Izumi, and we knew for certain that like he could just like end people with no thoughts about it. These two will torture and burn and annihilate people without remorse, and they'll look good doing it. Okay. Oh no, wait. Gotta rename that. That should be triple S. Triple S tier. Small armies and low level demons. So this category is essentially um like people who have a supernatural level of strength, even if it's not literally in the show referred to as supernatural. They definitely are stronger than the average human. In that category is Akabayashi, who just like ends people like somehow. Igor does the same thing. Rokujo, who like can kind of like did sort of actually fight with Shizuo and not instantly die. Kadoda, who can do that with him. These two are known equals. That's like a whole arc is about that. Um, Ruri, who's could be like she's at the top of this tier with like Akabayashi and Igor. Um, but I think like Verona could probably kill her easily. Verona's awesome with her whole arsenal and everything, especially. And if she had Sloane on her side, there'd be no question because Sloane is very powerful. By the way, I believe he's in Mook tier, right? Yeah, yeah, he's a Mook. Clearly, I mean, no intelligence. I don't think Verona would like kill to save him. Masaomi, who has a small army, being the Yellow Scarves, or at least the percentage that are actually loyal to him. Um, that's pretty clear. The Yellow Scarves, they're like a bunch of street thugs. They're pretty tough. He has many mooks under his control, and one man of dubious influence that he was able to defeat, I would say. Um, I think if like Walker decided to like destroy Masaomi, he would have a hard time of it. He kind of considered doing it that one time, but like in that scene, like Masaomi's guys would have ended him right there. And then we have, of course, the beautiful, the lovely Harun Niyakawa, the first Psyche user on this list. She's a Psyche user. She has a lot of men that are literally hypnotized and will obey her, no matter what asterisk. And we'll get into that asterisk later. But she's very and she can actually use her sword too a little bit, I think. Okay, quad S, high level demons and large armies. So these are people who we're getting to the really top tiers here. These last two tiers are like insane. I mean, these last three tiers are like insane levels of power. So we have Henri, whose Psyche, this is the asterisk, controls all of her Psyche guys, because she cut her, and also she's really good with the sword. She even went toe to toe with Izaya that one time and like didn't get killed, which was cool. Izaya is extremely agile. He can manipulate people and he knows everything, and everyone kind of needs him. Even the Awakusu, who's basically functionally run by Mr. Shiki as far as I'm concerned, which is why he's here. Like I feel like Dogen could tell Akabayashi to do something and he'd do it, but like if Dogen was like, "Hey Akabayashi, like kill another man of dubious influence, Mikado," then Akabayashi would be like, wait a second, I notice your power levels are equal. I'm not going to kill Mikado, I'm just going to give him a friendly warning, you know? But I feel like if Mr. Shiki was like, hey, Akabayashi, kill Dogen Awakusu, I feel like he would have to do it. That's how this goes. It's power level in every sense. It's like, because that's what power is in Durarara. It's like, who you are and like what like your influence, power and influence, men of high power and influence. um Simon is here because he can withstand blows from Shizuo easily. He's not a fighter, but he might actually be the strongest character in the show. We don't know. Salty's here. She's a terrifying monster who can kill everything and create matter, kind of. Not really, but control shadow stuff. Shiki and Izai, we explained. So the final tier is the highest tier is the Quint S tier, untouchable characters. So these two, I like if these two were like going at each other and like one's gonna survive. I couldn't tell you, but I think either of these could easily end. Not easily, like obviously Shizuo can't easily end Izaya because Izaya he tries to do that the whole show, but like Izaya can't end Shizuo. Like he can get him in jail, he can ruin his life, he can fuck with him, but he can't just he can never truly defeat Shizuo because Shizuo purely by the fact that Durarara is like a program wherein he has basically plot armor to infinity, means that Shizuo, like, just, he can't die. Like, let's be honest. He'll never die. He can't die. The man breaks his bones on their rag and doesn't even flinch. Like, you can't hurt him. You can make him bleed, as we have seen, but, like, come on. And then Kasane, who's the top psycho, so she has to be stronger than these two because she basically controls like probably a large portion of humanity, to be honest. And like we know Shizuo can just beat through psycho dummies like it's no one's business, but like I don't know, the whole city plus Kasane who like has Shizuo level like acrobatic and fighting techniques and like a way cooler and better weapon, like I don't know. I think these two would be at a stalemate, similar to the one between these two, except that I think Shizuo, like Izaya gets like fucked a couple times in the show, but like Shizuo, that's impossible, you know. Anyway, that's it. Everyone's been begging me to explain this, so you're welcome.